right, scholars, this is topic 1.2, types of democracy. Please make sure that you are paying attention carefully, and we're diving right in. All right, in this lesson, you're going to learn about the scale that we have our democracies on. It's based on participation and what those three different types are. All right, it's a pretty quick one, so let's go through it. All right. So first thing we need to understand is this, is what we are talking about today is representative democracies, like democracies in which people choose others to represent them, all right? So that is what we need to make sure we're starting at, all right? These are all types of representative democracy. All right, so this is a scale right here I would highly recommend taking a picture of, writing down in your notes, all that stuff, all right? This is a good one to make sure we are paying attention to, all right? It obviously says here, you can read it, participatory democracy, pluralistic democracy, elite democracy. Those are our three types we're going to talk about, and you can see participatory is going to have more participation, talking about from the common people, and elite democracy is going to have less participation by the common people. And we're going to see how pluralist kind of falls in the middle, because people really don't have power to do things individually, and so they coalesce into groups to get things done. The caveat being here, these are not groups that can achieve a majority. They're groups that have to work together, but we're going to talk about that. So, here we go. Participatory democracy. All right, this is going to emphasize broad participation. All right, lots of people being involved. We can see here the obvious, the pros and the cons. The pro, if you have a whole lot of people involved, is, well, you get a whole lot more perspectives than you would have if you just had 3 or 4 people involved. The con, all right, and this is kind of a big one, all right, is that it slows down the process. I mean, part of government, one of the big bones to pick that a lot of people have is how slow it works. All right, so you want to make sure that you got things going. Participatory democracy. Now, look, I've got to emphasize something here. This is not, I repeat, this is not direct democracy, okay? Direct democracy is when everyone participates in the political process. Everyone is a part of the legislative process, making the rules, decisions, etc. No. Remember, we are talking about representative democracies, okay? What we are saying is in a participatory democracy, people have a lot more power to have their voices heard. You could say popular sovereignty is seen very, very clearly in a participatory democracy. All right. Now, time to talk about pluralistic democracy. What you need to make sure you know about this is that it is group-based, and we're talking about non-governmental interest groups. I need y'all to hear this, we're not talking about political parties when we're talking about pluralistic democracies, okay? We're talking about interest groups a lot of the time, especially in today's day, we're talking about interest groups, okay? And one of the good things about a pluralistic democracy is no one has a majority, and in a democracy, majority wins, so you got to work together to get things done. Here's also the con. You got to work together to get things done. And some people just cross their arms and be like, I ain't doing that. I don't care. Just let it burn. I don't care. I ain't doing it. And what I need you to see here is when you force people to work together is sometimes you get great results. You know, you get a compromise that works well, but sometimes people refuse to do it. And if you refuse to do it, it slows down the legislative process to a standstill. All right? All right. Last one here. Elite democracy. All right. You should note that on this slide, there is a word written in red. It is important. Resources is the word you must tie in your brain from now until you take the AP exam with elite democracy. Resources. I'm telling you, this is about to come up, okay? When we start looking at our Federalist Papers, we're going to see that they are arguing some parts, about what sort of resources people need to have certain, positions within the government, or even to have a say in the decision-making process of the government. So, elite democracy. Who has a say? People with certain resources. These resources can be all sorts of things. Education, class. It can also be things as obvious as money. Of course, money is a major resource. We're going to see which resources are important to our framers when we look through Federalist 10. All right. So one of the good things or the pros of an elite democracy is, if we've got this elite, this chosen group, we've got everyone else, and we're just like, we're going to follow this chosen group. However, we have to also say this, is that there are some limits. One of the big problems with an elite democracy is if you're not in the elite, then your say is pretty much zero. Okay? And meaning this, you are a minority group. And what I want to make sure I emphasize when we say minority right here, we're talking about any group that is not in the majority of whatever is being talked about. Okay? Last thing I would just say about elite democracy is a lot of times you can see this in our government, but I would also say this, is that a lot of times people kind of mistake what is being said here by elite. What I want to make sure you understand is when they say elite, they are talking about in possession of a certain resource, and that resource can change depending on a governmental situation or a government, geographic location. All right. I just want to put this up here. This is a slide that I had from last year. This is one of the ones that I tell people to take a picture of. This is a good one to make sure that you keep. This has got it all in one place for you. It kind of has it, I'm using color there to represent the scale. So, please make sure that you got that right there. We're about to go into this right here, talking about Federalist number 10 and Brutus number 1. These are very important documents, obviously, for your success in this class. However, these are also going to be able to show some of the things that we have seen so far, specifically, our types of democracy. We're going to see that. We're also going to see our ideals, our governmental ideals that we talked about, natural rights, limited government. Things like this are going to start to come up as well in these things. These are things I want you to be on the lookout for as you do the activities around them. You're smart. You are great. You can do this. Please, if you need to watch it again, watch it again. If you've got questions, I've got answers. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Good luck.